I want to show you this little pendant that I made with granulation. So now this is fusing, okay? So it's not the same. There's no solder except when I attached the box part, that part is soldered. But all the little balls and wires are fused on. And it's all sterling silver. There's no fine silver on here whatsoever. Actually, I think a couple of the balls are fine silver. Yeah, a couple of the balls are fine silver, some are sterling, but they all worked just fine. So I'm going to show you how to do this actually, right here and right now. It is much, much easier to fuse than it is to solder if it's a little piece. But if it's a very large piece, it's just too risky to melt. So that's why we did the soldering on the cuff. So, but you know, why not show you how to do this in case you want to try it, okay? All right, because I make a lot of rings, I have a lot of scrap, and this one is actually textured. So I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to just throw a couple pieces of silver on here. This is all sterling. I'm not using any fine silver right now, but I probably will use some fine silver balls. I'll use some of my bigger balls. And we're just going to go over to the solder board. Doggies! Doggies! What is it, doggies? Daddy's, it's about time for Daddy to come home. All right, for this, you definitely do need, oops, there we go, must be time for Daddy to come home. You definitely do need a charcoal block though, okay? You need it to get pretty hot. All right, and I'm just gonna, actually, I'm gonna use the other side. I try to keep one side nice for making balls, and then the other side I do all my crazy soldering on. So I'm just gonna throw this on as a piece of scrap. I'm gonna throw on a couple of wires and get some balls. Where's my balls? Here's my couple of big crazy balls, okay? I'm going to show you how easy this is. Now, let me just back up for a minute. Yeah, okay. So there's a book by Opie Utrecht, I believe, and I'll try to show you the book in a minute. But it talks about granulation and easy ways to do it. There is talk about people using their spittle, you know, spit, like, I can't. Sorry. I cannot use my spit. It's just a thing. I can't be sticking metal in my mouth, licking it and putting it down. So there's a lady named Lillian, and she has made a product called Blue Fuse. And I love it. I'll show it to you. I'm not trying to be rude. I just find it hilariously gross to use your spit. And you know what? Whatever works. I'm not, who's judging? I'm not judging. Am I judging? I'm not judging. Okay. This is a cool product. You can get it from Ornamentia if you want to get it. I will give you the link. Ornamenta. And it's the only place I know that sells it. But what it does is it's for silver and gold, and it creates a, I believe it's copper and maybe boric powder, boric acid. I'm not exactly sure. She doesn't put what's in it. There's no ingredients list on there. But I did read in my book, my Jewelry Concepts and Technology book by Opie Utrecht. Opie Utrecht! Yeah! It's about $100, this book. It's not cheap. I bought mine used. So it's a great book though, and there's lots of information in there on how to do stuff. And the old way to do it was they would kind of take their silver and put it in their pickle with some steel wool and get a copper coating on it. And the copper coating, what that does when you go to fuse it, it changes the molecular structure when you heat it so that it melts at a quicker temperature, basically is what it does. And Lillian has found a way to make a product called Blue Fuse that does that for you, so you don't have to pickle your stuff and do it that way. So, but what you want to do here is you want to make sure your metal's really super clean. You don't want any oil on it. And if you clean it with steel wool does have oil in it, by the way, so you'll want to not use steel wool. Use a scrubby and then pickle it. Or you can use Bon Ami, which is a really great metal cleaner. You can find it at the hardware store. It's a pumice. Oh, my dogs are fighting like vicious, vulgar animals. Actually, they're playing. Isn't that cute? You're such a cutie. All right, that's fun. They don't get to do that too often. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to dip your piece into the Blue Fuse and lay it right where you want it. Also, you need to shake this stuff up because all of the stuff tends to settle at the bottom. That's probably more than I need on there. I'll take a brush and smooth some of that out. I got a little bit too much. Right, that's way more than I need, but that's okay. And then I'm going to put my lid back on it, and I'm going to add some balls. And I'm going to just fuse all this at the same time. So I've just dipped it into my blue fuse, and now I'm just going to stick a few balls on there. And I can place my balls wherever I like. And I'm going to heat this up, and what's going to happen is it's just all going to turn to red hot, and it's going to melt together. This works, by the way, whoop, what was that? By the way, this works with acetylene or propane. You don't need an acetylene torch. It works with both. I've done it with both. So we can really see what's going on here and give you a really good view. So I'm going to heat around. The problem if you get too much of this in is it will bubble and move things. So it's going to have to dry up a bit. My ball moved, but this is scrap. I don't care. There we go. Yin and yang balls. Okay. Alright, I'm going to, right on top of it, and I'm just going to heat it until it turns red and kind of flashes a bit, and you'll know. I'm not heating on those wires though, because I don't want those wires to melt. The whole piece has got to turn red. There it goes. And now I'm done. So isn't that easy? So I recommend you practice this on some scrap metal because, you know, it's really easy to melt your project if you don't know what you're doing. And once you get it down, you can try to make a piece of jewelry. The necklace I showed you at the beginning of this video is made from scrap, so that's how I did it. So these two pieces are attached. They're fused on. There's no gaps anywhere. I'll quench it. And I'll shine it up for you so you can see better. But for now, you can get a really good look at what you got going on here. So that's much easier than soldering. But like I said, on a big cuff, it's very, very easy to melt your piece. It does melt out some of the background texture, the etching. You know, not all of it, but it does definitely make it more faint. You'll still see a little remnant of it. Okay, so now you know how to do that without using your twee. I know, I'm crazy. It's okay, you know. But we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy. Be crazy, it's good for you. Okay, blue fuse, check it out.